Some mornings begin with a familiar routine. You prepare a meal that includes protein because you know it's important, especially now. And yet, later in the day, your energy still feels uneven, your muscles feel slower to respond, or hunger returns sooner than expected. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many people over 60 are doing exactly what they've been told to do, eating enough protein and still feeling like something is missing. That disconnect can feel frustrating, especially when you're trying to take good care of yourself. So it's worth asking a gentler question. What if the issue isn't whether you're eating protein, but how well your body is actually absorbing and using it now? That distinction matters more with age than most people realize. Protein has always played a key role in strength, energy, and repair. Earlier in life, the body tended to process it efficiently with little effort. But over time, digestion, enzyme production, and muscle signaling all shift in subtle ways. After 60, the digestive system often becomes less aggressive. Stomach acid may be lower than it once was, and enzymes that break protein down can work more slowly. That means protein may enter the body, but not always get fully processed. You might even be eating the same portion you always have, but your body may not be extracting the same benefit from it anymore. That gap between intake and absorption is where many people start to feel unsteady. It can help to pause here for a moment. This change doesn't mean your body is failing or becoming weak. It means the system is working differently, and different systems require different support. Have you ever eaten a protein-rich meal and still felt weak or tired afterward? That experience isn't a personal failure or a sign you need more discipline. It's often a signal that your body needs support, not more pressure. Absorption is where the real work happens. Protein must be broken into amino acids before the body can use it for muscle repair, balance, immune function, and energy stability. When digestion slows, that process becomes less efficient. And this doesn't happen overnight. It's gradual, which is why it's easy to miss. You keep eating right, but the results quietly change. There's a moment many people recognize. You stand up from a chair and feel slower than you expect, or you carry groceries and notice fatigue sooner than you used to. Those moments aren't just about strength. They're often about how well your body is accessing the building blocks it already has. Protein that isn't absorbed can't do its job. Muscle tissue after 60 becomes more selective. It requires a clearer signal to rebuild and maintain itself. That means protein needs to arrive in a form and context the body can actually use. This is where timing and balance begin to matter more. Protein eaten alongside other supportive nutrients tends to absorb more effectively. Meals become messages, not just fuel. Have you noticed that some meals seem to carry you longer than others, even with similar protein amounts? That difference is meaningful. It shows how context shapes absorption. This also means that the body becomes less forgiving of skipped meals. When protein intake is uneven, muscle breakdown can quietly outpace rebuilding. Over time, that affects stability, posture, and confidence in movement. This isn't about building large muscles. It's about preserving the muscle you already have. That preservation supports balance, independence, and daily energy. Another layer often overlooked is inflammation. Low-grade inflammation becomes more common with age. That inflammation can interfere with how efficiently protein is used. So even when intake looks adequate on paper, utilization may still lag. This is why eating more protein doesn't always fix the problem. Supportive conditions matter just as much. It's also worth recognizing how subtle this can feel at first. You may not notice dramatic weakness, just a quiet sense that recovery takes longer. That quiet shift is often the earliest signal worth listening to. Digestion is one of those conditions. When meals are rushed, eaten under stress, or poorly spaced, absorption suffers. The body prioritizes survival over repair. There's a quiet story many people share. You eat quickly, move on with your day, and assume the food will take care of itself. Later, you feel drained without understanding why. That fatigue isn't always about calories. It's often about how well nutrients were actually received. Protein needs time and calm to do its work. Hydration also plays a role. Protein digestion requires fluid to move smoothly through the system. When hydration is low, absorption can feel incomplete. So, You may not feel thirsty, but the body still feels the strain, and ultimately protein becomes harder to process, and energy feels less reliable. Have you noticed that meals feel heavier or less satisfying when you're dehydrated? That's not coincidence. The digestive system depends on balance to function well. Movement matters here too. Gentle activity helps stimulate digestion and nutrient transport. Long periods of sitting can slow the process. This is why protein sometimes feels more effective when paired with light movement later in the day. The body is better prepared to use it and everything works together. Another important shift after 60 is muscle sensitivity. Muscles respond better to evenly distributed protein rather than one large dose. Spacing becomes more supportive than stacking. That doesn't require complex planning. It's simply about consistency, giving the body steady access instead of occasional overloads. Have you ever felt better when protein is spread across the day rather than concentrated at one meal? That response is common. It reflects how the body prefers stability now. There's also the role of digestion-friendly preparation. Protein that is easier to chew and digest tends to absorb more efficiently. Texture and preparation matter more than they used to. This isn't about restriction. It's about making protein accessible to your system and allowing for support to replace force. Emotionally, this shift can be unsettling. You may feel like you're doing everything right and still falling short. That can erode confidence if it's misunderstood. But nothing is broken. Your body is adapting, and adaptation is something you can work with. Have you noticed how reassuring it feels when food actually supports your energy again? That steadiness builds trust. Trust reduces stress, which further improves digestion. Protein absorption isn't just a physical process. It's influenced by stress levels, sleep quality, and overall routine. The body is always listening. Poor sleep can reduce how effectively protein is used. Hormonal signals that guide repair become muted. The next day feels harder before it even begins. That's why recovery matters just as much as intake. Protein works best in a rested system, and rest is part of nutrition after 60. Another subtle factor is gut health. The gut lining changes with age. That can affect how nutrients pass into circulation. So supporting gut comfort helps protein do its job. When digestion feels calm, absorption improves. Discomfort often signals inefficiency. You don't need to analyze every bite. You need to notice patterns. Patterns tell the story more clearly than numbers. Have you noticed which meals leave you feeling steady and which don't? That awareness is powerful. It allows you to adjust without judgment. And sometimes the clearest clues show up in the hours after you eat. If energy stays steady, mood stays even, and your body feels more available, that's often a sign the meal was received well. When the opposite happens, it doesn't mean you chose wrong. It means your body is asking for a different kind of support. Have you ever noticed that certain protein meals feel calming, while others feel like they sit heavy or disappear too fast? That contrast is useful information, not something to ignore. It helps you learn what your digestion handles best now. This is also why gentle consistency matters so much. The body tends to absorb and use nutrients better when it can predict what's coming. Regular, steady meals create a rhythm the nervous system and digestive system can cooperate with. Protein doesn't need to be chased, it needs to be welcomed. That shift alone can change how your body responds. As this understanding settles in, frustration often softens. You stop asking why food isn't working, and start asking how your body prefers to receive it now. And that perspective creates relief. Relief supports digestion. Everything becomes more cooperative. Protein after 60 is less about quantity and more about availability. It's about how well your body can access it, which determines the benefit. Absorption becomes the real focus. This is one of those senior health tips that quietly changes everything. When protein is absorbed well, energy stabilizes. Strength feels more reliable. And over time, that reliability supports confidence. You move more freely. Daily tasks feel less demanding. Before moving forward, it helps to slow the moment down even more. Protein supports muscle, but muscle supports balance, posture, and the ability to react when life moves unexpectedly. When absorption improves, those systems feel more responsive. This also means joints feel more protected. Muscles that receive enough usable protein help stabilize the body during everyday movement. That stability reduces strain and supports independence. Better absorption can also influence recovery between days. Soreness lingers less. Energy rebounds more predictably. These benefits don't announce themselves loudly. They show up as fewer off days, more trust in how your body feels. Before the final thought, it's worth reflecting on this. Supporting absorption is not about adding rules or chasing numbers. It's about making nourishment easier for the body to accept. Have you noticed how much easier life feels when your body feels supported instead of strained? That ease is worth protecting. It's part of aging well. As you move forward, it may help to ask a softer question. Instead of "Am I eating enough protein?" you might ask, "Is my body able to use what I'm giving it?" That question invites curiosity rather than pressure. It aligns with how the body works now, and it leads to better outcomes. Protein can absolutely remain a cornerstone of your nutrition. It just benefits from more support than it used to, and support is something you can offer with confidence. Every day is another chance to care for the body that's carried you this far. Keep learning, keep moving, keep believing in your own strength, because aging isn't slowing down, it's leveling up. If today's message resonated, take a moment to subscribe, leave a thought in the comments, or share this video with someone who could use a little encouragement. Because together, we're proving that aging well isn't the exception, it's the standard.